Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. My name is Juggernaut, and Stellaris, the Apocalypse DLC, is finally upon us, and I cannot wait to get into it. So, I'm bringing you forth a Let's Play in Stellaris as the Imperium of Man. We're going back to our roots, or, well, I'm going back to my roots as the first nation I've ever played in Stellaris, in its day one release pretty much, is the Imperium of Man. Starting from Holy Terra, and my goal was to mimic the Imperium of Man from Warhammer 40k as much as is physically possible within the game without any mods whatsoever. And, well, with the new DLC and the changes in the game that are so massive and dramatic, I figure it's time to do it again because it will be entirely different. So, this time round, a marital empire. The Imperium of Man is ruled by the God Emperor of Mankind, which we will tweak a little bit in the future, but we'll get to that when we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. The human species is repugnant, traditional, adaptive, sedimentary, and conservationist. Is that how you pronounce it? Yes, conservationist. Conservationist, mostly because it's not as much about recycling as it is about the population of the Imperium of Man basically living without any luxuries whatsoever. Pretty much, well, apart from the aristocracy and the creme de la creme, but the average citizen lives on the bare minimum. Sedimentary, this is the most controversial one, I guess. Well, not controversial, the most perhaps not really see a direct connection. With 40k, it's because I need another negative trait, and relocating worlds is not something the Imperium does, or massively relocating populations. Right? I there are examples, but I've not heard of a single planet being evacuated. The entire planet being evacuated in 40k. Now, there is a lot of stuff I don't know in 40k, and a lot of books I haven't read, but they seem pretty sedimentary in terms of relocating mass amounts of population. So, there you go. Adaptive because they live on all sorts of worlds, regardless of the conditions and regardless of how miserable it makes the people feel. Traditional, well, they are repugnant. They hate everyone else. So, nationalistic zeal and warrior culture, xenophobic, militarist, spiritualist. There we go, let's begin. So, this is the new galaxy creation screen. We're going to play on a huge galaxy. We're going to put some 16, 17 empires. 3 of them with advanced starts, and I'm only going to put in 2 fallen empires. 3 marauder empires is fine. Let's put it down to 2 because I've never played with marauder empires. Tech and tradition cost will go up to ×2. Habitable worlds up to ×2. Primitive civilizations increased as well. Crisis strength up to ×2. We're going to start fairly late. Right? This controls which is the earliest year that mid-game events such as the machine uprising and the Horde crisis can occur. Well. Let's go. Let's put it at there, and we're going to put this at there. Does that sound okay? Or should I go down to 300? Let's go 350 and 650. There you go. Air aggressiveness normal, difficulty normal, random empire placement, advanced neighbors off. This is the new, I guess, most controversial part of the DLC, is the FTL system has been completely reworked, and some people are rather upset about it. So, multiplies the standard number of hyperlanes that will be generated in the galaxy. I'm going to keep this all as default because I've never played this. I did not get, like, early access to the mod or to the DLC or anything, so I'm going in blind, so I'm going to leave it mostly default. Right, here we go. So, as we're loading in, it's probably worth mentioning, I don't think I've ever been this excited for a Paradox DLC. And so we may begin, ladies and gentlemen. The Imperium of Man starts its journey throughout the universe to build an empire of 1 billion suns. Now, in true tradition with the previous series, which was, I believe, one of the most popular ones I ever did on this channel, I'll start every episode with a quote from now on that is in some way relevant to what we're doing. So, let's go with... This is new. Off-World Trading Company. I get it. Alright, Off-World... Funny. You funny. There's now trading hubs. Improve the condition of interstellar trade. I really like this. I'm going to start with that, and then we'll get the Off-World Trading Company later. Which is what I said about the game as well. I'll play this and I'll play that later. Engineering facility, Yanga Base, basic strike craft. This is not the time for this yet. Corvette build speed, not that relevant. We'll go with this then. Okay. So, the standard affair more or less still applies, apart from the fact that, well, you might be wondering what the hell is this. And that's a very good question. This is a station. Now, it's not one of those things that you can only have realistically 5 of, because all of them cost influence to maintain. And no, it's not one of those fortresses that once you build them, they're practically useless because nobody ever fights them. This is a proper station. What does it do? Well, it does what stations above planets used to do. It can make defensive platforms, as indicated. It can get modules and buildings, which are 2 different things now, thank God. You can upgrade or downgrade it. Why you would want to downgrade it? I suppose there could be... I mean, other than economic reasons, I don't know. So, upgrades and buildings, and obviously, you can build ships in it. You can't seem to build civilian ships on it, though. Now, on to Holy Terror. It does have a spaceport. So, where is it? Yeah, it's we'll get to it. The spaceport builds civilian stuff. Does that make sense? That makes total sense, if you think about it. You have this to build war stuff, and you can get trade modules on it as well, obviously. And you have other things to build civilian ships. So, you might have noticed, the fleets have changed. Right now, the command limit for this fleet is 20. There was talk of allowing 100 or 80 ships or something like that at most being in a fleet. So you get to 80 ships and you can't have any more, so you can put either 80 corvettes or 80 battleships or something, and that's a fleet. They've done it differently, and I'm very glad they did. You now have a base limit. Do with it as you will. Biggest problem with Stellaris for me was doom stacks. There was never a reason to have more than 1 fleet. I mean, there was if you're fighting the tiniest empire imaginable and you just don't want to use your entire ships. Or sorry, all of your ships. So, yeah, to that extent, I get it, but no. No, this is so much better, and this is something that, something similar to this that these New Horizons mod has been doing for quite a while, and I absolutely adore that mod, and it is my absolute favourite of all Stellaris mods, so naturally I'm very pro this decision, though I do understand people that dislike it. I mean, the entire DLC has been getting quite a lot of backlash, almost, and quite a lot of dislike because of the dramatic changes, but I, for one, like all of them, apart from the fact that I can't start with FTL. Well, sorry, you can't start with Warp as FTL. At any rate, let's go. Unpause and begin. First Primarch, Gaius. Mankind. You don't... Huh. So this is a bit of a trade-off. We'll talk about this. Pirates? Wow. That is a well, and right next to me. Okay. Here's the thing. God Emperor of Mankind, you can see this on this screen, and if this were anything different, it would annoy me. God Emperor of Mankind is staying, by the way, so let's see what he is. He's a fertility preacher and warlike. Well, definitely warlike. Fertility preacher, okay. I mean, you can't really choose these traits, so fair enough. The heir, though, is a bit of a problem because his name is Gaius Mankind. Except you can't see that. Unless I mouse over it. This is the trade-off. So either this is different or this is different. This is entirely fine to me because I'm never going to look at the Primarch because the God Emperor of Mankind is never going to die. How on earth are you intending to accomplish that? Well, with this. That's the only sort of alteration I will make. Is that I'm going to cheat in the Chosen One trait for the Emperor of Mankind, make him a Psyker via the console, and keep him as a ruler, which is, if you think about it, isn't it exactly what happened? In, a loose sense. And he is the only immortal. Well, not necessarily, but, immortality is not something that is shared in the Imperium, shall we say, among all the aristocracy and everything. And if I did go the natural path to there, which is through Unity, I would get the immortal trait for pretty much everyone, more or less. Well, there is an event as well, which can result in one of your leaders becoming immortal. But not the ruler, the leader. It's usually a scientist that you send through to do the event, or could be a fleet commander, I think, or something like that. But the ruler, it's a lot more difficult. So we're going to do that immediately via console. And that's pretty much the only change we're going to make from the base vanilla game. Everything else is pretty much the way pretty much the way you see it right now. All right. And there is nothing else to do at this stage but wait and explore the galaxy. Did I tell you to... Oh, is it... Oh, that's going to need to change. The Throne of God. Sorry, whoa. Well, hold on a minute. First of all, what the hell is that ship design? Second of all, centuries ago, a group of radical priests and their devoted followers on Holy Terror broke away from the established religions to form their own church. They call themselves the Throne of God. Excuse me? How dare you not believe in our Lord and Saviour, God Emperor of Mankind? How dare you? Reactor booster, what does this do? Power generation 20, costs 5. Do we need more power generation? I mean, it would increase the damage ever so slightly. And here's the thing, I start with a red laser and a kinetic weapon. I'm gonna keep the laser. I'm gonna keep the laser, sure. I can't believe I haven't mentioned this yet. I'm using the SBQR name set, or the name list, sorry, for the Imperium of Man. Well, there isn't an Imperium of Man name list, and nobody has made one, and to make one would take a long time, considering the number of I should have given a general, or a whatever it's called, admiral. We'll just build another ship and should be the end of it. I'm using the SBQR, the Roman name set, because thank God they put it in. Otherwise, having to rename everything would be a little bit ridiculous due to the sheer number of ships, leaders, planets, systems, everything. Terrible. I will rename some stuff. I may rename a few ships here and there, and I may change. Oh, the sector names are obviously going to be all 40k themed, and I may name a few planets. I mean, I don't know. It depends on how I'm feeling. I may choose to name all the planets based on 40k stuff, as exhausting as that would be. But yeah, sure. We'll rename all the planets, but the ships, there's just too many. There's just too many planets and sectors I can deal with. Ships, not really an option. I haven't talked about the prefix, the prefix. Sorry, yes, it's IWS Imperial Warship. The Imperium ships don't have this, I don't think. They're not called the IWS something, but it was that or leave it as nothing, and you can get like, well, it's cool, okay? It's cool to have it be named Imperial Warship. I wanted to put maybe like the Imperial Navy ship or something like that, but we're not the Imperial Navy yet. Yeah, we've just started, so it's a bit of a, well, interesting situation we're in. Cultist ship disabled. Prepare the breaching charges. We are boarding them. Alright. What do I do? I should probably assign an admiral. Let's get an admiral going before anything else. Known as Secundius. Sure. It now costs energy, by the way, to recruit these guys. So, sure enough, let's research the project. Also, if I may, when is my ship getting... Ah, very soon. Okay. Never done this event, obviously. This is a new one. So, I'm very, interested to see what becomes of it. Give speed 3. Right, we've boarded the ship. Though the survivors offered stiff resistance, our boarding party was able to secure several prisoners from the disabled cultist starship. From them, we have learned that the conspiracy goes far deeper than we initially suspected. The agents of the Throne of God include several flag officers and high-ranking officials within our own government! Exclamation point. Mass arrests are being made on Holy Terra, and air assets belonging to this cult have been seized. Sorry, all assets. I had the mouse over it. All assets belonging to this cult have been seized. However, several of the starships they built in secret remain unaccounted for, and the upper echelons of the cult's leadership have vanished. We've picked up faint ion trails leading to several outlying systems. We must pursue these traitors. They are probably agents of chaos. Here to sabotage us from the very beginning, when we are at our most vulnerable. God damn them. There is also, I'm gonna go, here's the thing, I'm gonna go through these features as I look at them and as they become relevant as I come across them. There's also now a starbase capacity. So, whereas in the past you could build 1 billion of these, or basically make it so every planet has a starbase, now there is a limit. Right now I have 1 planet and the limit is 3, but that's not going to increase proportionally, so it's not going to be 6 for 2 planets, because at that point it wouldn't be much of a limit, would it? So it's interesting. It's interesting. You can increase the limit, obviously, but I'm assuming more planets will give you a bigger limit, but there's tech, there's all sorts of stuff you can do to increase the limit. Yes. Now, move on. Nothing else to do. Discovered alien life. Where? On Alpha Centauri? Well, you discovered a dangerous wildlife, so yes, you have discovered alien life. First fleet has been... Well, actually, I'm going to rename the fleets. So this is Battle Fleet Sol. And I used to do this in the first playthrough, if some of you have watched that and remember. we'll talk about this in a second. I used to do this as well for every fleet, and I had, I think, around 4 or 5 fleets at the end of that. One basically, one for each sector, except 2 or 3 sectors didn't have a fleet because they weren't ever in danger. This didn't work out that well. In that, basically, I mean, fair enough. It was cool, it was fun, but it wasn't effective. I mean, it was far better to just put them all together at that point and just send them out. Now you can't do that, so this is a lot more pragmatic this time round. The Priesthood on Holy Terror had a generally favourable reaction to the Imperial warships Starbows reports of complex yet dumb organisms found on an alien planet. The findings did spark an interdoctrinal debate. Is this proof that humans are the lords of all within creation, or have we simply not yet encountered our brethren from beyond the void? Beyond the void. We'll get to that. There has been talk, and I don't know if this is implemented yet, and how this is going to be implemented in the future, but I had this idea that you could jump from this galaxy to another one. Now, that would mean a 2,000-star galaxy. Fair enough. That's a bit ridiculous, but there's mods that support like 10,000-star galaxies. Or supported. Now, no mods work now because of the DLC, but, you know. It was a thing, is all I'm saying. Silicone life forms. Interesting. We should get ready to build our first colony ship. And we're lacking a little bit in the way of resources for that. Alright. My borders are really small. I mean, considering the past, which does make sense. And why would this be under my jurisdiction at the start? Because it's close? No. No, I have the immediate area around Sol. That's what falls under my jurisdiction. Until I colonize something or build outposts somewhere, it's simply not going to be the case. Now, I wonder. Yeah. If I were to build this... See, it says monthly upkeep 0. It doesn't cost Unity anymore. And overall, I'm very pleased by that. Let's take a look at something we haven't looked at yet. Purges. Allowed, obviously. I'd say they're a little bit more than allowed, but fair enough. We can issue a few edicts. This is monthly Unity. Map the stars would be pretty good. Hallow planet. Unity again. Okay, later. Refugees. No refugees? We'll talk about that. Core world's population. Citizens and slaves, sure. Initial border status closed. First contact protocol aggressive. Resettlement allowed. Orbital bombardment indiscriminate, obviously. Food stalking. Stockpiling. Food stalking. What the hell is that? And unrestricted wars. Okay, fair enough. We're gonna need to muck about a little bit with. Where is it? It's in here. Demographics. We're gonna need to muck about with this a little bit because rights are a somewhat complex issue in the Imperium. So obviously they're going to be living in decent or worse living conditions because roleplay. Also, humans will have full citizenship. There is the option to just be the Imperium of Man, period, and just kill everything that's not human. But they don't do that really either, do they? They do allow some mutant and Xeno-ish species to exist. So we'll think about slaves, right? We'll think about slaves that are humanoid, that are very humanoid. Okay, maybe just pointy ears, and they do exist in the Imperium in certain planets. So yeah, we'll think about that. What I'm saying is we won't just be like purge absolutely everyone. We'll take in slaves as well, but we'll mostly purge people. All right, first Unity thing. This is important. I think I'm gonna go with expansion, but I'm gonna take a look at these for any glaring changes. Well, there's now war doctrines. Diplomacy, hell no. Prosperity is interesting. Harmony is interesting. Greater good. This is more of a Tau thing. That's not Imperial. Discovery. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Star Trek, but this is not for the Imperium Command. This is for Star Trek. Let's go with expansion, I think. Yeah, let's go with expansion. Alright, tell you what though, this is going to be quite enough for the first episode. We've introduced a lot of the new mechanics, and talked about how we're going to conduct this entire endeavour. We're building our first colony ship, and yeah, there we go. So this will be the first episode in a hopefully very long series to come. I am absolutely elated to be playing this and cannot wait for more. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. I hope you will join me for the next episode. Until then, like and subscribe down below if you enjoyed this video and want to stay tuned with the rest of the series. Have fun, take care, and bye-bye.